do. In this workshop, you're going to discover so many different things. And hold on, y'all. You're going to discover so many different things, and we're going to be able to talk to you about exactly how to get rid of that feeling of being embarrassed. I mean, let me ask you this question. When is the last time you heard the word faith? People use it to describe religion or the supernatural. They're using that for all sorts of things. But when is the last time that you have actually used the word faith? And when you did, what did it mean to you? What did it mean to you? How did it relate to you? How did it change you? How did it make a difference in your life? People use it to describe religion, or they use it for the supernatural. This noun comes from the old French word feid, meaning faith, belief, trust, confidence, pledge. Is often used when people have faith in God, or actually refer to the religion that they practice in faith. Thus, faith means to most people putting your trust and your confidence in God, in God, so that you know that He will fulfill what you want Him to fulfill for you. And better yet, asking God to provide you with everything that you need to get the skills and the success necessary. So when you're thinking about faith and you're thinking about using it to build your business, I want you to rest assured that it can happen for you. And guys, before I go on, because this is blanket, I just want to make sure that you guys are hearing me okay. And I am actually live out there because I don't happen to see it. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. I just had to make sure because we've done it before. All right, y'all. And so now you know that we're live. Matthew 21:22 says, whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive it if you have faith. And after Jesus said those words to his disciple, he was then asked, okay, by what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority? I mean, think about that. He is Jesus. And they're asking him, who do you think you are? Who do you think, why do you think you could do this? And that's what a lot of you guys are feeling when it comes to running your business. Like, who do I think I am that I could do this? Who gave me this authority? And you know the answer to that Jesus, like, my Father gave me the authority. I am the authority. And it's okay if you're feeling, okay? It's okay if you're feeling like you're not satisfied with where you're at, if you're not satisfied with what's going on in your life, if you are feeling embarrassed, if you're feeling afraid. I just want you to know that that's okay. That feeling will change and you will get past that. See, most think that they have to have all the answers, that they already have to be skilled, or they're facing that imposter syndrome, which stops that idea that God planted in you from becoming a reality. But just like how Jesus handled that, he became a doer, and he knew that he would. He already knew, okay, that he would. And as you guys can see, these slides are constantly going back and forth, and that's all right. We're gonna work through this. He already knew. He already knew the fact that he was a doer. He knew that he would need help, and so he knew that we would need help, and so he left the Holy Spirit with us to help them. He also provided us with people who can provide daily guidance and help us to be able to eliminate excuses where we might get over like minor inconvenience when things happen to us. So we don't want that to happen to you. And that's why we're here to help you to know that no matter where you're at, you can definitely make this happen for yourself. And so as we go through these slides, they're flipping back and forth. So just bear with me as we go through this. And see, there's no reason to wait for faith to grow your business, for your skills. I mean, you got faith. So there's no reason to wait to say, oh, let me get all my skills together. Let me get everything together. And there's even no reason for you to ever be embarrassed by the lack of skills that you have, because you can find help. You can find help in the Bible. You can find help through us. You can find help through other people. People are out there to help you. And better still yet, we're here to help you right now. It's time to combine the Bible, knowledge, accountability, and execution to turn your ideas. You want to be able to turn your ideas into a reality. And that means that you're helping people get results. You're helping people make that difference in their life. I don't want you to wait another second, y'all. I'm going to go over 8 true questions that you should be asking yourself when it comes to you building your business, so that you can get it going, so you can get out of your head and get into your calling and be able to make that happen. So if you don't have a paper or pen, do me a favor, go ahead and grab it. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time joining us, I want to say welcome. Excuse the technical difficulty that we're having here. We're going to just go ahead and go through this and be able to make it happen as we go through it. Our purpose here is to help you build a business for the kingdom using biblical principles. I mean, ask yourself this: what if you could build a 6, 7, or 8-figure business or course, and you could do that from your gift, your talents, your skills, something that God has given you, and the resources that He has given you. From that, you can help to grow the kingdom and get more people to know about how amazing Christ is. Isn't that, I mean, that's just wonderful. And that's something to do. So I want to thank you all for joining us today for another irresistible message from our Kingdom Business Workshop series provided by Bible Business Academy. On Thursdays, you can meet us here at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to dive into business and the word. And we're going to go deep into that and to be able to help you. So if you're joining us, or whether you're on the live or replay, let us know. If you want the show notes and the slides to this presentation that we're given today, just go ahead and drop that in the comments. Also, let us know what type of business that you have a desire to build. You can go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com to learn more about our global organization. I'm your host, Cathy McReynolds, and our goal is to help you build a business so you can get time freedom, debt freedom, and financial freedom. See, we transform entrepreneurs into kingdom leaders with the sole purpose of growing the kingdom and fulfilling God's original purpose. We believe that this message you hear today will equip you to grow in your faith and your finances while advancing your life and business as you discover the purpose and do it with passion. So y'all ready to get everything started? I want to remind you too to stick around to the end. You're going to get exclusive access to building your course or consulting or coaching business with biblical principles. I will also tell you how you can get a free gift sent right to your front door. And it's all about helping you grow in your faith and in your finances. And guess what, y'all? That leads to more fun, more freedom, and more fulfillment. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Cathy McReynolds. I'm from Akron, Ohio, in the Washington, D.C. area now. I always say I grew up shy, sheltered, and in church basically 6 days a week. My mom was a minister, dad a football coach, and I left home at 19 and I've been gone, I don't know, back and forth there for the last 30-something years and been a business owner for that amount of time, also with the exception of 2008, when guess what, guys? I lost everything. So I went running back and tucked my tail, stayed there for 10 years. Now I'm back and excited and doing God's work. And I'm an author, international trainer and coach, not perfect, and auntie to many, also a licensed financial advisors. And over this last 30 years, we've built businesses to 6+ figures. And we've also lost them. So we want to help you to be able to build your business so that you can grow, so that we can help you do the things that God has put in you to do. You can also pick up a copy of our book, Bible Business Secret. You can get that over at Amazon, or you can go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com/book. And you can also get a copy of our planner. This is something that everyone needs when you're getting ready to get that business going, to get everything in order for you. And this is also available at Amazon, or you can go to believeandgrowrich.org. And once we're done here, we're going to hop into our topic second. We have several things that we can help you with. We have our Kingdom Management Enterprise System. That's for that existing business that's already over a 6-figure income and they want to grow and scale that. We can help you with that. And for those of you who want your course or your academy, started, or you want to get a online business, then you can either go to our Genesis Digital Course Academy or our Scale Academy to be able to help you with that. And all of this stuff we'll talk to you, and we also have some done for you programs. So enough of the commercials. Let's get into the topic. Are you embarrassed by your business skills? And here is exactly what to do. So we're going to start with searching for principles. This is the key. So like if you're feeling that imposter syndrome, if you're feeling embarrassed, if you're scared, if you're intimidated by getting out there, or if you're already out there and you're intimidated by going to that next level, this is what this is going to help you with. I'm going to walk you through the process of how you want to think about business. And it's probably different than what most people tell you about, but it's one of those things that if you miss out on, it can stop you in your tracks and stop you from having success. So the first thing you want to do is search for principles, okay? And you're probably like, well, how do you search for principles? And principles, as you know, is something that we should have. We call it, some people call it your mission, vision, values. Some people call it what you grew up with, the values that you had, that your family taught you. Sometimes you learned them from mentors or coaches, but you have to have principles in life. The best way to get them, okay, and you also have to have principles in business, is you can read blogs, you can read books, you can read forums, you can read articles, you watch videos, reels and clips, you listen to podcasts, you listen to audience. And so what that's doing is you want to find someone in your niche, someone, like if you're watching this because some of the things that we do resonate to you, and you want to be able to help other people with that. And these things, doing, reading, watching, listening, learning, all of these things will help you to earn more money, and they will dramatically impact the direction of your life and your business. And it goes the same if you're listening to trash. Trash in brings trash out. Good in brings good out. Whatever you put in your mind, in your heart, in your head is going to come out. So you have to make a conscious decision to search for principles. And I'll give you guys an example of like my daily schedule. When I wake up in the morning, before my feet hit the bed, unless, on the floor, unless something is happening, or the bed at night, here's what I do. I have the Bible app on my phone. So I'm reading through the Bible, or I'm reading certain subjects, and you say your prayers, you give your thanks for waking up, and then I'm reading the word before my feet hit the floor. Because we know as soon as we get out of bed in the morning, everything happens, especially if you have little kids and stuff like that around. Things begin to happen, and you can't do it before I go to bed at night. That's the last thing that I'm doing. I'm listening to the word, and then after that, I'm reading or listening to something that will help my skill grow. And this has been a habit for a long, long time, especially like in reading your goals and knowing what you want to do. All of that has been ingrained in me, so it's natural. And it wasn't easy in the beginning making that happen, but as you go through the process, it becomes a natural part of you, and that's what you want to have happen in your life. You have to search for principles, and then you want to end those principles in your search, like in search of excellence, in search of principles. You want to look for patterns. What ideas are you getting from those articles or those books? What are they describing? What are they talking about? What is the video sharing to you that's resonating with you that can help you in growing your business? And how and what did they spend their time studying? See, I'll give you guys an example. Like about 25 years ago, I went through a Tom Hopkins boot camp for sales. And in that Tom Hopkins boot camp for sales, we did a weekend boot camp. And from probably 30 years ago, some of the things that I've learned in that boot camp, and for 3 days, I still recall them to this day. This is where I learned to sell. This is where I learned so many different things about the mindset and transition. He used to have this thing that says, I'm not judged by the number of times I fail, by the number of times I succeed, and the number of times I succeed in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail and keep trying. So that 30 years ago was implanted in my head and it never left. It's like a song. When you hear it over and over and over again and you get those repetition going, it just keeps going and you just never, it never leaves you. It's like the word. This is why God says, meditate on my word day and night. And I had the fortunate habit of being trained in the financial service industry by a man named Bob Safford, who one of our requirements was to read the Bible front to back every single year. So he would have us read 6 pages a day. And then we had to read a proverb every single day because it's 30 days in most months. So we had to read a proverb a day. And he always talked about the book of Ecclesiastic. And it wasn't in church that I really got connected to God and understanding how you can put him in business. It was through actual a business mentor who gave me this stuff. So these are like, and then when I look at the patterns, and I think sometimes you can go decades without realizing this unless someone points it out to you. Here's what you want to look at. Here's what you want to think about. Then you begin to think on those things. How and what, so you want to know how and what did they spend their time on. And so I share that with you because what I do is I'll go see who Tom Hopkins learned from, right? Who Bob Safford learned from. Bob Safford learned from the Bible. So go to that source. Tom Hopkins, I forget the guy's name, but I went back and was in the 1940s. And when you start to see this, here's the important part of that. You really truly begin to understand that there's nothing new under the sun. You begin to see that everybody is just repeating the same thing, that success is predictable. This is why they say success is predictable and so is failure. If you do certain things in a certain way, you're certainly going to end up having success. And so that's your key to be able to do that. So when you're looking at businesses, you want to see what makes them grow. And we're going to dive in like into Walmart towards the end to help you guys to see the principles and the patterns in their business. And we're also going to dive into the principles and patterns in the Bible as well, so that you can look at that and then look at what research ultimately led them to writing their books, to going live, to doing the things that they do. So stop looking and hearing what people are saying when you're looking for principles and patterns and see how they're doing it. Are they going live? Are they doing podcasts? Are they advertising? Like, you want to see what they're doing while you're watching what they're doing, if that makes sense to you. So I want you to sharpen your focus on your life purpose, because when you sharpen your focus on your life purpose, you begin to get intentional about changing your life. You begin to get intentional about your purpose. If you don't think about your purpose on a day-to-day basis, if you don't think about your business being your purpose and your gift and what God called you to do, you're going to miss out on the blessing that can be huge for you. It'll transform your thinking. You know, he said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you read stuff, listen to stuff, hear stuff, it increases your faith, and it also transforms your mindset. And that's what you want to do. You can also, from your, in general, your whole goal is to become the best in your category. And you don't have to start out the best. You just got to get started. But you should have that mindset, you know. I think it's in Deuteronomy. I forget, as they say, I forget which street, the scripture on it. But it says, work heartily as you're doing it for God and not for man. Right? That's how you have to think about everything you do. So if you know that you're building a business for God, don't you want to be the best at it? Don't you want him to say, well done, my good and faithful servant? So every day you get on and you get things started, remember, never despise small beginnings. Never let mistakes, like when I got on here, the PowerPoint was not working. It kept blinking off, or it doesn't matter. It's just technical difficulty. The message that needs to be heard will be heard by the right people. So you want to use the work that others have done to help you sharpen your focus. You want to read the Bible to help you sharpen your focus. From the knowledge that you've already established, you want to see how you can use that to grow your business to that next level. And then you have to, like you always talk about a personable syllabus. You got to put together a personable syllabus so that you know that you are always growing. How do you know you're always growing? There's this uncomfortable stage. Whenever you're doing something different and new, you get this feeling in the beginning of uncomfortable or unfamiliar. So you could take 12 months, every single month, or 4 times a year, every quarter, and learn a new skill that will help you grow your gift, that will help you get your business to that next level. And don't think you have to have it all done in a certain period of time. Just know, as we're going to talk about, that once you dial in on your purpose and your gift, it becomes your life work. If you think of the Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Jesus, Moses, Noah, like we know all of them because of their life work. It's been the same thing forever. And even if you're just now discovering it and you're 50, 60, 70, 80, it doesn't matter, because some people in the word, that's when they came into their own. You just have to know that you got a purpose out there. God wants you to use it. He wants you to use it to grow the kingdom. He put this entrepreneur spirit in you, and you want to be able to use that spirit and that gift and that skill and that knowledge to do what he called you to do. He said, I knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. You if you believe that, then you already know he had a purpose for your life, and he has a way of sharing that with you. So you want to plant seeds constantly. Remember to plant seeds that will build the business that's in your heart and your heart desire. And it takes time. It takes a lifetime to make that happen. So don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated. And if you find yourself in those situations, then you want to transform your thinking on that. And you do that by, when you set a goal, you have to set a goal to do what no one else has done and go where no one else has been. So, for example, this always comes to my mind. I always think of Facebook or Instagram or social media in general. It started out with MySpace, right? It started out with MySpace, and only college students were to have MySpace. So Mark Zuckerberg came and did Facebook for the world to be connected. So he had a goal to do something that no one else had done. That was part of his vision that he had for the company. Just like with Microsoft, when they had that vision was to have a laptop in the desk, because before, computers were only in the government and these high corporations. They had these big, huge blocks and computers and all of that stuff. So he had a vision to have every home have a computer in their home. And guess what? That has happened. So when you think of your business, I want you to be still. So the word says, be still, and allow God to walk you through, allow the Holy Spirit to help you and to share with you what the vision he has for you, what the purpose is. And then once you figure that out, you want to be obedient. And you can think about when Paul said in Romans 15:20-22 from the Amplified version, he said, accordingly, I set a goal to preach the gospel, not where Christ's name was already known. So did you hear that? He said, not where Christ's name was already known. So when you think about your business, yeah, they can have similarities to what? But do something bigger, do something different, not from what your ego wants, but from what God's purpose is for your life. He says, so that I would not build on another man's foundation. And so if you're out there and you just try to copy and do what everyone else is doing, you're going to be frustrated because you're building on another person's foundation. He said, but instead I will act on this goal as it is written in the scripture. So act on the goal, the gift, the purpose that he gave you, the skills that he allowed you to have. Act on that as it is written in the scripture. It says, they who had no news of him shall see, and they who have not heard of him shall understand. So you might not know, they may not know your name, but they're going to know your name if you get out there and do the things that you were called to do. It says, this goal, my commitment to this principle, is the reason why I have often been prevented from coming to you in Rome. So that's letting you know, when you start operating in your gift, in your purpose, opposition is going to come. People are going to come against you. They said if they're not talking about you, you're not doing enough, right? So you got to get your message out there. You got to go, and you have to know that when they come for you, God got you, and you're doing your job and fulfilling your purpose by using your gift for his glory. Challenge, okay? Challenge conventional business wisdom. You don't want to do things like the world is doing things. You want to challenge conventional business wisdom. This is why you want to do it from a biblical standpoint. Challenge the way the world makes business grow. Challenge that. We just had a gentleman who joined our membership program, and one of the biggest challenges that he had was that people out there were, they would say one thing, but they weren't there to help, and to encourage, and to not just make it about business, but to make it about a life. Because see, when you bring people into your course or your consultant business and you're talking to them, you want to think of the lifetime value. You want to keep people for life. Now, in the beginning, guys, it may not work out that way because you're just getting things started, especially if you're out there and you're trying to figure it out on your own. You can make mistakes, but guess what? Just loop back around and go back and call those people. And then if they've seen you do so many different businesses, they're like, okay, what is she up to now? What is he up to now? So you just got to stand your ground and get a decade in. Stand your ground and get a decade in. That's why it's so important to hone in and focus on one business that would get you to where you want to go, to be able to live out your purpose and do the things that you need to do. Number two, decide to grow your business with biblical principles. I just talked about that. I'm telling you, I experienced doing that in the financial service industry. It helped me so much that I can't even, express the value that Bob Safford brought to us by having us use the word and teaching us the word. And when I look at it, it was all leading up to where I'm at now, because as I tell you guys, it was not at all my idea to build a business with biblical principle. And I fought it and I fought it and I fought it till one day I was like, okay, I hear you, I'm going to do it. And the reason I was like, okay, I hear you, it was like I was talking to someone, because the idea just wouldn't leave me. I was like, I'm not qualified. I can't do that. All the things that you're probably thinking about, I can't, I won't, but I did. And I'm so happy that I did, because I can truly see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And it never gets old. It's always so much more to learn. And that's how you want to feel in your business. You want to be excited about it. If you can wake up and be excited about what you're doing and you have peace with it and you know God's will. I didn't say you're not going to struggle and not have challenges. You're going to have that, but you're going to also have a lot of peace while you're doing that. That's when you know you're operating in your purpose. And if you go over on our YouTube channel, while you're over there, make sure you hit that subscribe button, or maybe you're watching us from YouTube. We have like a little 8-minute videos that says God calling you to start a business. You can watch that, or you can book a strategy session with us at any time at BibleBusinessAcademy.com/call, and we can help you figure out what that purpose is if you don't know what it is. Then number 3, keep it simple. But be passionate about it and be logical about it. And I used to be the queen of overcomplication. And it's just because you learn so much that you're like, oh, I'm going to give them everything I learned. You can't do that, right? You got to meet people where they're at, spoon by spoon, and then take them where they need to go. So that's number 3. Number 4, and this is how you're challenging conventional business wisdom. Like, for example, when I used to take these courses that were 5-minute, 8-minute modules. It was very irritating because I'm like, just give me what we need to get done and let's get it done. But most people are like, these are little wins. If they get through that first one, if they get through that second one, they get through that third one. And I used to hear in the beginning, man, this was good, but it was so overwhelming. Whatever you hear that is overwhelming, listen, right? This is when you're looking for principles. And then I realized, okay, this is why they do 5 to 10-minute courses, so that people get little wins and they feel confident to go over to that next step and make it happen. Number 4, you want to figure out how God wants his business to grow. So if you get that in your mind from day one, that is not your business. It is God's business, and he's using you to carry it out as the human here on earth. That's why you're doing it. You look at things completely different. Your ego gets set aside. You know you're not working for you. You are working for him. Number 5, ask yourself how your business will directly or indirectly save God's lost sheep. Now, does that mean that your business have to be about religion or Christian or whatever it is, faith? No, it doesn't. You can do something on cooking. You can do something, and I'm telling you some of the businesses that are out there. You can do jump rope. You can do computers. You can do anything. But your walk should show that you represent God. Your giving should show that you represent God. Whatever you do, how you treat people should show that you represent God. And by what they see from what you do, they're going to begin to ask you questions. And that'll allow you to say, do you know about Jesus? Here's somebody I know about that can help you out. And then you can talk to them, you can minister to them. Some companies, some CEOs, and I was just talking to another guy about this. He's going to divinity school. I was like, did you know that some big companies even have ministers in their companies on payroll to talk to their employees, to help their employees to be there as that lending ear for them to help walk them through things like that? He was like, no, I didn't know that. And I had no idea myself until I started surrounding myself by people who were of faith, of the kingdom mindset, who were business owners, and found out some of the things that they were doing. These are little things that become big things that transform what you're doing and how you're doing it. And it makes you different from traditional ways, and it makes you do it the way God wants you to do it. So I want to tell you to if you haven't been taking notes, make sure you do this. Or if you're catching this during the live, you can go back and watch the replay and play this over and over again. I'm going to give you 8 questions that you want to find the answers to immediately. Okay, so here are the 8 questions that you want to find those answers to, and then begin in search, right? In search of principles. This is what you're in search of. People say go in search of excellence. I'm telling you to go in search of principles. Number 1, how much of what business do is based on biblical principles? So when you start doing your research, ask yourself, how much of what businesses do is it based on biblical principles? Because God founded the world and he put all of us in it, and he told us to honor him in everything that we do. Are we doing that? So you want to see who is, how they're doing it, how is it working, what's making it great for them, and how you can use some of what they have and implement it in your business. Not copy it. You can take it and you can make it better, right? And you can duplicate some of it. Number 2, how much of what you're doing in your business is just culture or status quo? Are you, like, if you want to build a course, are you doing it like everyone else is doing it? Or are you online and you're doing videos like everyone else is doing it? Like what is status quo? Are you doing everything that everyone else is doing? Or did you listen to the ideas that God planted in you and you're doing something different? You want to find out what's the same, and go back to what Paul said. I don't want to build on any other man's foundation. I want to go where people don't know him. So you want to get people who don't know of you and who may know of somebody else. And we talk about that, getting some people call it your top 100 people in the market, and you can find 1% of their audience who will want to follow you and to go with you. So no matter if you have no followers, no matter if you're just getting started, no matter if you've been around for a while and things aren't going the way you want them to go, they can. So make sure, number 2 question, how much of what you're doing in your business is just culture or status quo? And you can always shoot the screenshot of this. Number 3, why do some businesses grow and others die on the vine? Why is that? You want to begin to listen and learn what happened. Why did they grow? Ask the questions, know which questions to ask. Look at the history of the business. Number 4, what causes a growing business to stop growing, to plateau, and then decline? Because that's how it goes. It stops growing, it plateaus, and then decline. Look at the patterns. Life is about patterns. When you learn to put these patterns together and you study them, you can begin to make different decisions and do things different. Number 5, are there common factors found in every growing business? What are the common denominators in every growing business? Because if it's a common denominator, guess what? That's something you want to use. Then you want to add to it. This is how you make it better. And you don't have to you yourself add to, just like listen to God. He's going to tell you exactly what you need to do and how you need to the ideas. And then that's what we're here for. Once you talk to us about your ideas, what you've been given, what you've been thinking, we're going to help you take those ideas and implement them into a reality, and to building that business, building that course, getting that product out there, whatever it is for you. Number 6, are there principles that will work in every culture? Are there principles that will work in every culture? It should say every culture, every age, every demographic, because there's certain, like I always tell people, I can't have the same conversation and speak to a 20-year-old that I am speaking with a 60-year-old, because they have different life experiences. So part of developing your niche in your business that you're going to speak with, like in Bible Business Academy, my target audience, okay, is for people that are 40 and up. And especially for people who get, between that 50 to 60 mark, where they're looking at retiring, they're doing something different, or they've been working for a corporation for 20 or 30 years, and they want to live life. They want to spend the second half of their life in their purpose. When I'm out there and I'm advertising, that's the market. And so like when we're on Facebook, it says, or YouTube, or wherever you're advertising, it gives you your demographics. What age groups do you want to get your message to? Who do you want to get your message to? What culture do you want to get your message to? So once you start with that one set of culture, age group that you want to get your message to, it will trickle down to everyone. So if I'm talking to grandparents who are in their 50s or 60s, and they have grandchildren who are, young in their 20s, they're going to tell them about it. And then that's how they come into. So 80% of the people are going to come from your principles, your mission, and your value. And the other 20% are going to come from referrals and trickle down theory. But you got to have your message out there in the right way. Number 7, what are the barriers to growth? Okay, one of the barriers to growth is you could be embarrassed about going live. I remember the first time I went live, and I had spoke on stages, y'all, but I was so nervous, like that tears were just rolling down my eyes, but I just kept it going because, after you've been in business for a while, that Fear will raise its head. Mistakes will happen, but you handle them completely different. Like I tell the story of 2008 when I lost the business. I tucked my tail, and I went back to my hometown, stayed there for 10 years, worked for someone for a year, and that's the only time I did over that time. But when the business that I had, another one that I had that was growing well and doing well, I got a text that said, hey, we just sold the building. So that was like 15, 20 grand a month gone. And it didn't phase me not one bit. I was like, okay, God, what we got next? And what we had next was Bible Business Academy. So what barriers are you mentally tough? Are you mentally strong? Do you know tech? What's stopping you from becoming who you were born to be? What's stopping you from living out your purpose? These are the conversations that we have with you and that we want to help you with, so you can get through those barriers that are blocking you. And then when you find out that other business owners also went through the same thing, you're like, oh, okay, they went through it, they survived it, so can I. And this is why the word always say, never despise small beginnings, because that's how everyone gets started. I can't wait to share with you guys and walk you through the Walmart journey and how they had challenges and trouble, and now they're the #1 company that's out there. Number 8, what are the conventional myths about growing business that aren't true or never were? What are the conventional myths about growing business that aren't true or never were? You need to know that, because there's falsehood out there. People say you should do this, or this works, or this. No, this is conventional. Here's a conventional myth that if you got an idea, you need money. No, you don't, right? If God gave you the vision, he's going to give you the provision for that. Or you need to have a good credit, or you need to have a degree, or you need to have experience. You can't teach something if you don't have experience, or you need to have made, a certain amount of money before you can help somebody. No, all of those are myths. And we want to help you to get past those, because those myths will block you from going. So you got to know what they are. So when you face these types of things, you can ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that can happen? And once you figure out what the worst thing that can happen is, you get to transform that and change it. Just let God direct you. If I can give you any advice that you can have here, let God direct you. Use your personal relationship with God to talk to him, to pray to him, to listen to him, and let him direct you. It should not just be something you do, but something you feel. And when I say something you feel, because I used to think like, there are times when I just feel like the Holy Spirit, you feel the presence of God. And then there's times when you don't feel nothing. You see that in the word, you don't feel nothing. And you're like, God, where are you here? And the answer is yes. But see, here's the enemy tricking us. We try to operate from feeling. You don't have to operate from feeling, but when you feel that feeling, it's like that feeling of being in love, right? You know it's there, but we make so many decisions based on emotions and feelings that it removes any principles from it. It removes any visions, missions, and values from it, and it blocks your blessing. So you want to feel that that you are doing what God called you to do. You want to know that every being of you know that you're supposed to be in this direction, and this is how you operate. This is how you're going. These are the things you want to know. And then you know you are there when you want to invest the rest of your life discovering what your purpose is and growing it. Let me repeat that. You know you are there when you want to invest the rest of your life discovering it. And like I tell you guys, because I get to study the Bible every day, because I get to share and help people know more about God, because I get to teach people about business, and I get to be surrounded by people who have ideas. They're creative, they're thinkers, they don't think like the rest of the world. That is so much excitement. And guess what, y'all? I can do this for the rest of my life. And so as you're doing that, and when you know you're in that, maybe you love to cook, and you can do that for the rest of your life as you're teaching other people how to do it. whatever it is, you're going to know that you know that you know that it's your calling. And if you're not there, as I said, go over to YouTube and watch that video. Is God calling you to start a business? Very, very short. Um, when you're looking at that, I want you to look at your biblical back experience, your culture, your business, and your leadership principles. Your biblical, culture, business, and leadership principles. You need to know what those are. When they're in alignment, they're going to produce healthy, growing businesses based on God's word. That's the key. That's the ticket right there. This, my friend, should be the beginning of a lifelong study for you. You should make a decision that you're going to live out your purpose. You're going to do your business. You've been implanted with that idea of being an entrepreneur. We're creative. We're misunderstood by a lot of people. And it is okay. That's how you were born. That's the God within you implanting all of those ideas. Now you just got to get it in order. Like Jesus said, who of you say you want to build a tower of business and you don't sit and count the cost? You're not going to be able to finish it, and they're going to laugh at you. He just was not just talking about money. He's talking about that mental cost. And that's part of what all of this is, the journey that you must go through. So if you know the people who came before you, you know the journey that they went through, the challenges they went through, and how they made it, you can make it as well. So here's an action step for you to do. You can go do an independent study, okay, on all of these businesses. Now, when you come in here, we take you through doing an in-depth study on different businesses in your niche so you can get all of these answers. But you can Google this, or you can, actually mail people stuff. But I want you to do an independent study of the 100 largest businesses in the world, like 100 of the largest businesses. And they don't have to. Jay Abraham is very big on this, of how he said how he got so good, and he would see businesses and work and helping businesses from all different genres and all different niches. And because of that, he found what we're talking about, these common denominators. And I've heard him say that, and I got it some, but it wasn't until I'm putting this PowerPoint together that I had that aha moment. I see why he did that. So as long as now, had I not been studying Jay Abraham, had I not been studying Dan Kennedy, and the list can go on and on and on, I would have never been able to put all of that together. This is how your wisdom and knowledge come in. Like the Miles Monroe, when Rick Warren, when you're listening and studying people, all of a sudden it may just seem like you're listening or you're reading, but if you keep doing it, then eventually it's like, aha, okay, now I get it. So now you're at that next level, and you begin to grow your business. So that feeling of embarrassment that you have from not knowing something, it'll go away. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I don't want you to let that stop you. So let me go ahead and dive in and talk to you about this independent study and what you do. You want to do an independent study of the 100 largest businesses in the world. Your first step is to identify those businesses. So you can just Google that, top 100 businesses in the world. Next, what you want to write to each of these businesses and ask a series of questions that are pre-designed. I don't have time to go into the exact questions that you want to ask, but that's what you want to do. You want to write to them. You can physically, I suggest doing a physical mail, because people don't do that. I learned this from Dan Kennedy. When you get a hand addressed envelope and you send it out to someone, they begin to know who you are. And that's one of the, like, if you go read our blog, we talk about one of the marketing, I think it's like 48 or 50 something marketing strategies on there. One of the marketing strategies is you mail stuff out. You can call it lumpy mail. You can put some things in it. People don't do that nowadays. So direct mail is one of the ways that you can do that, and just ask some questions. Not everybody's going to respond. So don't think everybody's going to respond. Yes, you can send them an email. Your rate's going to go down less with people responding, but just a handwritten note, right? And they even have people that will do the handwritten, and machines that will do that for you. The world is so advanced now. To get these things done will change your life. And this is the key that I want you to know. that other successful people love helping people who want to be successful. So when you're writing that letter, you can put something personable about the person that you learned, that you read, that you admired, and that you saw what they did in order to get where they're at. You can make it personable, and people react to that. I was just telling Julia, one of our sales consultants, it's not about Bible Business Academy. It's not about us. It's about the people. It's about their dreams, about their goals, about what they want. People don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's you have to come from a genuine place in your heart and love on people, just like Jesus said, right? Love on people and treat people how you want to be treated. And so what you want to do when you're writing those letters, you want to discover things that they all have in common from the ones who answer you back, right? Like how does large growing business differ widely in their strategy, their structure, and their style? That's the main reason why you want to do this, is how are they different in their strategy, in their structure, and their style? And then you also want to know, what are the common denominators? And what do they do that are the same? How is that working? Now, guess what? This study will confirm some things you already know. You'll get back some things you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I already knew that. Fine, great. It's not what you already know, because what you already know has gotten you to where you're at. What you need to know will get you to where you want to go. So this is why personal syllabus, always being in training, always listening to stuff, always reading stuff, always making it a habit of getting better and growing your skill and your craft on a day-to-day basis will help take you to where you're supposed to go. Healthy large businesses are led by CEOs or owners that have been there for a long time. That's one of the things that you'll discover. That person that hops around, they don't produce a good fruit. But people who stay the test of time, people who last through the challenges, they're the ones who build something great. You want to look for dozens of examples that are the same. So even if you mail out 100 and you only get 10 back, look for, of the 10, 5 to 7 that are the same. What are the same? The common denominators in them. A long time, if you're an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur for a long time does not guarantee you that your business will grow. Your businesses, and if you change business or you're chasing the next thing, something new came out, you're chasing that, oh, this is due, I can get some money from here, I can do this, then this is why it's been such a challenge for you to grow a business. How do I know? Because I've been there before, right? Just doing this, doing that, just because somebody else did it or they're making money here, or they've been, no, learn to operate from your purpose. Learn what that is. So remember when I talked about, we're going to talk about Walmart. Before I get there, I looked up in the Fortune 68th edition of the annual ranking of American largest companies in 2022. And they have a list of the top, and I put in the top 10. So I'm going to share those with you. And so it was a blowout year for the companies that were featured in here. So when most people are talking about inflation, when most people are talking about things are not working or the pandemic, these people had a blowout year. Despite rising inflation, the ongoing supply chain crisis, that was the crisis. See, all these headlines are from the media and social media to get you to stop doing what you're doing and pay attention and read what they're doing. That's why you have to be intentional. Remember, I said be intentional in what you read. Be intentional in what you're listening to. You should have all your notifications turned off on your phone so you can intentionally go listen to the people that you know are in the lane that you want to be in or that you're currently in, so that you can get knowledge from them so that you can grow. And even with the second year of the COVID-19 pandemic, these companies did an outstanding and amazing job. Together, the 500 corporations of the year list generated a record 16.1 trillion in revenue and 1.8 trillion in profit. But yet, the entrepreneur, the course creator, the online business owner, the person who's jumping here to here to here and not focused, is broke. Where 16.1 trillion in revenue and 1.8 trillion in profits went to people who went in search of principles, who understand their vision, mission, and value, who stood the test of time and who made it happen. So I'm going to share with you that list, which companies made the cut, which industries were most profitable. And I'm just going to give you the top 10, but you can go on Forbes and pull up that whole. I'll start from the 10 down. AmerisourceBergen was number 10. Number 9 was McKesson. Number 8 was Alphabet. Number 7 was Berkshire Hathaway. Number 6 was ExxonMobil. Number 5 was United Health Group. Number 4 was CVS Health. Number 3 was Apple. Number 2 was Amazon. And the number 1 spot for the 10 most profitable companies in America went to Walmart. So what I said is, let's dive into Walmart, into Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, to see about and learn about his journey and how we can apply that to our life. Sam Walton, his name in full is Samuel Moore Walton. He was born in March 29, 1918 in Kingsford, Oklahoma. He died April 5th, 1992, Little Rock, Arkansas. American, so think about that right there. He was just Samuel Moore Walton. No one special. No one knew who he was. So when you are giving yourself that excuse, where I come from, this little town, right? I'm just a nobody, right? Trying to, be somebody. You can do that. You can make that happen. American retail magnate, he founded Walmart in 1962, the year before I was born, and developed it by 1990. So from 1962 to 1990, this is how long it took him to become the largest retail chain in the United States. I think that was 26 years. So he was not an overnight success. So we look at these major corporations and they've done something magnificent, but they did it over decades. And you got to start asking yourself, have you even given any business an entire decade? Have you? Yeah, I know, like as a financial advisor, I was a financial advisor for several decades, and that's why we were able to have success in that business. It said he stepped down as a chief executive officer in 1988, but remained the company chairman. By the time of his death in 1992, his company, in 1992, had established 1,735 Walmarts, 212 Sam Clubs, and 13 super centers. And we know the story of that now. And that back then was a total of 380,000 employees with an annual sales of $50 billion. And so I just shared with you where they're at now, so you can see the growth and you can see that it took time. So when you dive deeper into the Walmart story and the early history of Sam Walton, the original 5 and dime store in Biltonville, Arkansas, now serves as the Walmart Museum. So if you're ever there, you can go check it out. In 1945, businessman and former J.C. Penney employee. See, he was a J.C. Penney employee. He brought a branch of the Ben Franklin stores with the Butler brothers. And I remember them saying he had this idea of the Walmart concept, but the company that he was working for wouldn't implement it. They didn't buy into it. So he said, okay, I believe in this. I know, like some of you out there, I know this idea is in me for a reason. I know it's going to happen. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to leave what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and start my own. That's your purpose. That's when you know you're operating your purpose. Some of you have been in your job for a long time and you're just stuck there and you're feeling stuck and you know you shouldn't be there and you want to go do something different, but you're afraid to get out. Let his story inspire you to go out there and make it happen. See, his primary focus was selling products. So here is his vision. Selling products at a low price to get higher volume sales at a lower profit. Portraying, it as a crusade for the consumer. So he was like, we're here for the little man. We're going to do it for the little guys. This is we are. And probably back then he was probably saying, you know, big corporate America don't like you. They don't think about you. All they think about is profit. But not here at Walmart. We're here for the little people. We're here for average, ordinary Americans. That's how he got that started. That was his vision. That was his mission. That was his marketing message. He also owns and operates Sam's retailer as well. So remember, he started out with the 5 and dime 10 stores. Then he went to open up the Walmart. Then he opened up Sam. See, what we do is we want to do it all at one time until we get that one message right. So he went to a higher clientele at that time. So all of this has to be intentional. So his companies now, they also went overseas. They're in Canada, Mexico, you name it, they're everywhere. His company is also publicly traded. And the Walton family, his family still controls the majority shares in that public traded company. And so they have over 50% of that through the holdings. And so he knew that he wanted to leave generational wealth. So that was some of the things that he did. But guess what? He also experienced setbacks from 1945 to 1969, getting all of this done. The building that he was in, the lease price went up and the branch was purchased, that it was high, and he quit on that. So when I hear that, I'm thinking, maybe I should have dug a little deeper when they sold my building, because one of the visions that's on me is to reach the little children, right? To have it. So now I have Bible Business Kiddie Academy, right? Where we can start at a young age, because train the child as you want them to go. But sometimes you just don't know those things as you're going through things. So you do things that don't make sense because you can't see the picture. It's like going from the dream to the pit, to the palace, to prison, and then back to the palace and taking care of your brothers. Like, all of these things are things that happen in the word that you can use to help your business grow and to help keep you going, to get away from that feeling of being embarrassed or imposter syndrome, so that you can keep things going. See, he had his thinking cap on, and that's what you have to do. When you're going through challenges in your business, learn to be still and ask God to help guide you. Have mastermind groups that you're part of, so you can run these ideas by people who are also in business doing what you're doing. And that's what he did. He was able to find lower cost suppliers that than those used by the other stores, and was consequently able to undercut his competition in pricing. That right there is doing things different from the way the rest of the world is doing, finding out what they're doing and then doing different. So sales increased when he did that, when he stepped out of norm and stopped doing what everyone else was doing. His sales increased by 45%. Maybe your sales are down because you're trying to be like everybody else. You're copying and duplicating. God gave us each an individual fingerprint, and what he gave to you is for you, and you get to do things differently. So 45% in his first year of ownership, to 105,000 in revenue. Okay, this is funny, kind of listening to this, right? And then 140,000 next year, and then 175,000 the year after that. So we're talking his first year of ownership was a 45% increase to 105. So that had to mean like this, his first Walmart first year in business made about $55,000. First year in business, right? Second year, 105,000. Third year, 140,000. And then the next year, 175,000. In his fifth year, he went to 250,000 in revenue. And you quit because you can't get it right in the first year. Look where they're at now. This is like, I think the first year, the daycare I had, it did a $245,000 in this very first year. You don't even think about that stuff because we're so in tune to what the world says instead of what the word says. And this is why you got to get in tune. And we don't have mastermind groups. We're not working with people. We're not surrounding ourselves. We're not reading the right things so that you can get your mind right, so you can get your money right. Is that making sense? Let me know in the comments what you're getting from that. If you had that aha moment that I didn't even think about that. Whether you're watching it in the replay or live, let us know. See, the least that expired to most would have been a tragedy. To him, it was a way to look at something and to do different, because he knew it was his purpose. He knew what the end would look like. He knew what would happen. He knew he wanted Walmart Supercenters. The little graphic, the chart that I have of all the things that we're going to do with Bible Business Academy, including having, buildings out there that will teach people about faith and finances and business and all of that stuff in businesses, just like you see with Walmart. So don't despise your beginnings. Write down your ideas and then just go through the process of implementing those. See, right now, they're the number one. They've been on a 10-year streak of the Fortune 500 for 10 consecutive years with over 570 billion in revenue. It took them 5 years to get to 250,000. And now they're 10 years in a row, the number one company with 570 billion in revenue. What if Sam Walton would have got frustrated? What if Sam Walton would have let the idea of him not knowing anything, or the idea of his lease going up, things changing, discourage him and make him quit on what he was doing? See, Walmart successfully navigated through that. They grew their sales by 2.4% in 2021, and profits inched up when most places are going out of business by 1.2%. And guess why? E-commerce offering. They took a deep dive. They looked at their business and they said, how can we operate into today's world? What can we do? So to better compete with the delivery rivals of Amazon, DoorDash, Walmart expanded its store to fridge delivery service in home. They're like, you ain't gonna beat us. We're gonna outdo you. And they did that thing. They made that happen because they stayed creative. They allowed the ideals and the vision. They looked at what people were doing and they said, how can we make it better? And then when you think about the people, the middle America, all of the masses of people that they've been working with, that have been loyal to them and their consumers, they had a consumer base that their list, how we always talk about building that list, their list was so huge that is no way that they couldn't have won at that game. They also tested driverless delivery vehicles with Ford. Is click and collect curbside. That's what they call it. Click and collect curbside pickup service generated sales of 20.4 billion in 2021, a tripling. They tripled over the past 2 years. And so during the pandemic, when most people panic, they tripled in their sales and what they're doing because they thought outside the box. They looked at the status quo of what everyone else was doing, and they did something different. But they wouldn't have been able to do that had they not had that crusade that we're here for normal, everyday working people to help you. We won't gouge you with prices. We won't take advantage of you. You can trust in us. People don't care how much you know. They don't care what you sell. They don't care what your course is about until they know how much you care about them. That's why it's important, guys, when you're building your list, you're building your business, communicate with people, get on the phone, have a sales team to call people, to talk to people. You call people, you talk to people, and then you always have your mastermind groups, but know what your customers want. Figure out what they want and then show them how to get it. They hired Casey Carl. He retired and then he was replaced by Tom Ward in February of 2022. So you might not be the person to bring that idea or that vision to life. But guess what? You can hire that person. You can partner with that person. They can join you. They were there just for you to be your partner with you. If you go back and read some of the millionaire in the Bible series that we did on YouTube, you're going to see some examples of that. So here's some of the things that research just from Walmart revealed. So imagine when you go out and you research 100 companies in the world and find out all of these things about some of the things that they did and how this is going to transform your life. Same CEO for 26 years. Walmart had the same CEO for 26 years. The business you're building, are you willing to put in that time? Are you willing to make it happen? I always tell them I'm going to live to at least be 105 years old. So we were talking about, the things that you can do and try in life last night with my nieces. And they were like, well, you always say you're going to live to be 105. So you got another 40 years to go out there and do something. That's how you got to look at life, right? And so when you look at that, you have energy, you're excited, you take care of your body, you do the right things, you don't put things in your body, you get your mind together so that you can accomplish that goal. You can have that. Businessman. Oh, wait, so here's what that research revealed. Same CEO for 26 years, left a family legacy, businessman and former JCP employee. He bought in an existing business. His primary focus, so he had a primary focus. Everything I have underlined here, this is what you want to go look at. This is what the research revealed. This is what I'm going to start looking for in patterns and comparing those with the other companies. Primary focus was selling products at a low price to get higher volume sales at a lower profit margin. Portraying, what did they portray? Walmart as a crusader for consumers, and they experienced setbacks. So legacy, same CEO, didn't quit, didn't chase things, figured out what their purpose was, figured and got it done. Legacy, businessman, employee. So sometimes, guess what? You might not be ready to be your own CEO. You might need to go work for another company or work for someone so you can get that experience and that knowledge, so then you can use that to start your own business when you're ready. So wherever you're at, make sure you're giving it your all. I can tell you, when I, in my 20s or even that 1 year in my 40s when I work for someone, if I picked up the phone, I can go back to any of those companies. Why? Because I gave them the best when I was there. That's what you want to do. You want to give the best no matter where you're planted at to make that happen. And look for those things in your research. He also was a publicly traded and family-owned business. Get your family. Look at the reason why they go publicly traded, because they're growing their business and they're also helping other people investing in them, because not everybody wants to be a business owner. I have someone here that I talk to and they're like, I don't want to be a business owner. If you don't want to be a business owner, be an investor. That's also a lot in life that you can have. They went international. Our goal is to impact people around the world. If you're building your business, is that something what you want to do? They also had a pension and profit sharing program. So that means the revenues in the business was just not about making them rich, right? So you got to know to get yourself set up, put your mask on. Once you get your mask on, then for your customers, get them results. Make sure that they're getting the things that they need. Make sure your employees are getting the things that they need. They're getting the success. They're getting the results. They also expanded with high ticket branches and superstore. Expanded. They didn't bring them all in at the same time. When my catalog first went out, we had so many things in there duplicating what someone else did. And we dialed all of that back. They can come back in, but you got to get good at one thing. Get good at one thing. Get known for one thing first, and then you can begin to expand out, because now you got a customer base and they will follow you through that journey. They had a strategy. They didn't just, wake up and say, what are we going to do today, right? They had a strategy to better compete with the delivery rivals, and then they put a plan in place. So like Jesus said, who of you would say you want to build that business, build that tire, and you don't have a plan in place? You're not going to be able to finish it, and they're going to laugh at you. You don't want that. You don't want that happen. And then they test it. You always got to be tested. Even in the word, it talks about being tested. They tested driverless delivery vehicles with Ford. Some things you test work, some things you don't, but you always have to be testing. And then they hired a CEO with e-commerce experience. So what you're lacking, go hire someone. Go partner with someone. If you don't have the money to hire them, partner with them. Give them a piece of the company so that your vision, that has to be the key. Your vision will not ever stop growing. And so that's Sam Walton. He went through that journey, and I know you probably got a lot out of that. But I'm going to end this with talking about the word, the King Solomon, and his journey and what you can learn from him. It said it is believed he was we know he was the wealthiest person to ever live the globe, to live on the planet Earth. Even God said that, right, in the Bible. The Bible says Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem, dedicating the temple to Yahweh, or God, in Judaism. His first business was dedicated to God. Build your purpose dedicated to him, like with him in mind and the purpose, and it will keep you going. He was portrayed as the wealthy, the wisest, and the powerful one, as one of the 48 Jewish prophets. He had an estimated net worth of 2.1 trillion, right? Just him himself, right? During his reign, he got much wealth as well as splendor, in which it was believed that he got 666 talents, which are equivalent to 18,125 kilograms of gold, which is so valuable. And here's what he did. Here's how he got to where he is. Here's how you can take his biblical principles, these principles, right, that he used, and implement them in your business. Here's King Solomon's prayer. And this is coming to you from 1 Kings 3, 6, and 9. It says, then Solomon said, you have shown your servant David, my father, great love kindness, because he walked before you in faithfulness and righteousness with uprightness of the heart towards you. So faithfulness and righteousness. You got to ask yourself, am I walking in faithfulness and righteousness? And you have kept for him this great love kindness, in that you had given him a son to sit on his throne as it is today. See, this is where that generational wealth, this is you blessing your children's children's children, right? I tell you guys, and my dad, who, 5 generations down, his impact is still making a difference, and he's been gone from this world over 30 years. It says, so now, O Lord, my God, you have made your servant king in place of David, my father. As for me, I am but a little boy in wisdom and experience. He said, I'm but a little boy. I think he's like 14, 15 years old. I'm but a little boy in wisdom and experience. You may be a newbie, okay? A greenie is what we call it in business, in online, in getting things started, just like King Solomon was, okay? So I want you to know it's okay wherever you're starting at. I don't know how to go out or come in. He said, I don't know. So that's being vulnerable. That's saying who you are and what you know and what you don't know. That is how to conduct business as a king. So you may be saying to yourself, I don't know how to conduct business. I don't know how business works. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to get started. I don't know if I'm capable. I don't know if I should. This is why you want to get on these strategy sessions, so we can have that conversation with you. And while I'm thinking about it, you can go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com/call, BibleBusinessAcademy.com/call, and we can help you with that. He said, so your servant is among your people whom you have chosen, a great people who are too many to be numbered or counted. So give, okay? Here's his request. So in the beginning, he talked about what the great things that he did, praised him for that, talked about where he felt weak at, and what he has done and the goodness. And then here's his request, right? A lot of us will start with the request. Give honor to God. Give him praise for what he's done. Follow King Solomon's prayer. And then he goes on to say, so give your servant an understanding mind and a hearing heart. An understanding mind and a hearing heart. If you just use his prayer and say, God, you put this purpose in me, you put this business in me, so give me an understanding mind and a hearing heart with which to judge your people, so that I may discern between good and evil, for who is able to judge and rule these great people of yours. So you got to say, God, you gave me this business idea. Give me understanding mind. Give me an understanding mind. Give me a hearing heart, so that I may serve your people the way you want me to serve them, so I can do what you want me to do, so that you can get the results that you want to get. See the difference? It's not about me, you need this. And then here's God's answer to him, right? Because you want the same answer. He said, now it please, and it goes on to say in First Kings 3:10, it says, now it pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked these things. It's pleasing to God. God said to him, because you have asked this and had not asked yourself a long life, nor for wealth, nor for the lives of your enemy, but have asked for yourself understanding to recognize justice, understanding to recognize how to serve your clients, understanding to recognize how to build a business, understanding how to recognize to bring people value. These are things that I'm adding in, whatever it is that your business is going to do for people. This is why you want to ask for that heart and that mind to be able to do it. He said, behold, I have done as you asked. I have given you a wise and discerning heart, your mind, so that no one before you was your equal, nor should anyone equal to you arise after you. So when we say the heart, we're thinking of the heart pumping, feeling. No, the heart is your mind. That is everything within you, your belief. It removes all the feelings and the emotions of it. And this is what God said, because he knew inside of him that he really, really, truly wanted to do it to please him. Now, we all know the story that he wavered, then he came back. So it doesn't matter if you waver and you can't know better, do better, right? Now that you know that you don't have to waver, don't do it anymore. But don't get stuck in what went wrong, what was bad, and all of that stuff, because it's going to block your blessing. So while you're out there, while you're in search of principles, I want you to remember these things, okay? Entrepreneurs that rotate companies every few years will never experience consistent growth. This is one reason for the decline of big businesses. This is the reason why your business might not be taking off. By intentional is a word that I want you to think about. Take it and write it on an index card and put it up. By intentionally taking on too many opportunities, you're limiting yourself. And you're only doing it because you think the one don't work. And trust me, y'all, I've been there. I still have these thoughts of doing this and doing that. So now we have the Ice Fit Studio business. So why I feel confident about using that one, because it becomes the case study of marketing, sales, and advertising. And then we can talk about that and show how we use the principles that we teach to grow that business as well, or working with the government in our e-course business. So there's so many options as you're doing this. It has to be all relevant. It all is bringing biblical principles. They're all test case in us doing what we're helping other people to do. Few people want to follow a leader who isn't going to be around a year from now. When I wrote that down and I was reading that, it was from the Purpose Driven Church with Rick Warren, I thought about like me building my financial service business and how I had left that for the travel business after being in that industry for 20 or 25 years. And I thought about the people that I left behind and the lives that I had crushed, and chasing after something instead of sitting there thinking, now I'm back at Faith and Finances, right? So you see how you can be lured away and not even realize it. So it's okay. Once you just make it right and do it right. It says you may want to start all sorts of projects, but your flock. He talks about taking care of your flock. You got to know your flock. You got to know your people. You got to know the customers that you are serving. But your flock will be left behind because they will be the ones having to live with the consequences long after you have moved on. They're living with that consequences of trusting in you, believing in you, to help and guide them, because that's what you promised them, and then you left them. And this is the difference between Sam Walton. This is the difference between CEOs who stay around a long time. They are there for their employees. People know that they're going to be there a decade from now. They can count on them. See, they weren't gifted with that entrepreneur spirit, that entrepreneur, oomph to get things happen. You were. You think differently. You're made different. You were made for a specific purpose. They were made for a specific purpose. No purpose is better than any purpose it is. Your gift will make room for you. You just got to know and understand what yours is, and then you won't be embarrassed about anything. This is how you, instead of being embarrassed, you'd be like, okay, God, that didn't work. I tested that. I did this. What do you want me to do? What's the next move? Oh, let me talk to my mastermind group. This doesn't work here. What should I do? How should I do it? So you want to get your principles from the Bible, know the importance of longevity and growing a healthy business. Know the importance of why God said meditate on his word day and night, right? For the rest of your life. Why he said teach it to your children, so that when they grow up, they know it and get it. Like all of these principles you can apply to your life and to your business. Pray and ask God what he wants you to do. Pray and ask God for wisdom, for guidance, for him to work on your mind, to help you. Be willing to go any place in the world he wants to send you. Be willing to build any business that he wants you to build. But ask for the privilege, whatever you want to do, ask for that. Ask for the privilege of giving you the zeal, the zest, the ability to do what he called you to do the best way that you can for the rest of your life, in that location that he has planted you and put you in. So I hope that value today. If you want help in identifying your principle and getting your principle to where you need your principle to be, and you want help in doing that, you can go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com/call, book a call with us. We'll set up a time to meet with you. You can join us here every Monday through Wednesday. Monday through Wednesday, we do our lunch and learn session. And then on Thursday, as we're doing now, we dive deeper into these longer sessions where we're going to talk to you about building that business with biblical principles. And I'm going to head back over here to the stream, see if we have any questions or comments that you have there. So guys, if you want to build your business, if you want to start a course or consultant business, if you already have an existing business, you want to see that grow, that's what we're here to help you for. And then, as I said, if you stuck around to the end, we're going to also share with you how we can help you build that business and grow that business. We do that through our training program, where you'll have access to our online training system. We also have group training, where you can have access to group training, creating that mastermind where we can help you. And then we'll also mail you some stuff out to your house, so that can help you to grow as well, to be able to make that happen. So to get more information, go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com. And if you don't have any other questions, I don't see any, we're going to go ahead and move on. But before I get off of here, let me just give you a few reminders here. You can get a free report on how to build your business with biblical principles at BibleBusinessAcademy.com. That's up on the screen. You can pick up a copy of our book, Bible Business Secrets. You can grab a copy of that at you can get it on Amazon, or you can go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com/book. And you can also get a copy of our Believe and Grow Rich planner to help you plan everything that we've been talking about. You can get a copy of that at believeandgrowrich.org, or you can go over to Amazon. And as I said, guys, in closing, we have memberships or academies out there. Learn more about all of this stuff that we're talking about at BibleBusinessAcademy.com. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to take action and let me know how it worked out for you. So hit that button somewhere around here and make sure that you take action to get that report, book that call, and make that decision to live out your purpose, do what God called you to do, and do it with zest and zeal, and enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate y'all. If I don't see any questions out there, I'm going to say thank you so much, and y'all have a blessed day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.